Hey everybody, what's going on? Hellmite here, bringing you another video from Grab the Lantern today. It's here. It's finally here. Urgot has been revealed. His rework is coming, and I could not be more excited. I think Urgot is one of the champions with the highest amount of potential that was never delivered on. I think that the champion has a really cool theme, and Riot just never got to it. And to see him now in all his glory, that's excellent. Riot are going to have to change Sion's joke for him now, because Urgot is definitely the cool one now in their interesting undead relationship. Anyways, I just wanted to take this podcast today and talk a little bit about my initial impressions of the Urgot rework and just kind of give my opinions on how I think he's going to do once he goes live. Now, you should have had a chance to look at his kit by now. If you haven't, go ahead and check the link in the description down below. I should have it down there. Anyways, Urgot is a range juggernaut, which I didn't think Riot could do. Now, there were a couple of rumors, quote-unquote leaks, floating around saying that Urgot would be ranged but have an ability, or be melee but have an ability that makes him range in exchange for rooting him in place. That didn't end up happening. This is why you shouldn't watch leaks, by the way, because that's not the case at all. Urgot is ranged. However, Riot have given him obviously a very, very short range, but they've also made it work with his kit. So now Urgot primarily relies around locking on targets. They've taken the EQ combo from his previous kit and translated it almost whole scale directly into his new kit now. So Urgot does have the ability to lock onto an enemy champion with Noxian Corrosive Charge, now just Corrosive Charge, and also now on his Q. And then after he locks on, his W can be activated, which is called Purge, which allows him to just pummel the target with auto attacks. And now, this is not that great. I mean, he gets basically Kog'Maw levels of attack speed. He's slightly slower than he was before, but he gets the slow resistance, so that helps Urgot not get kited at all. Actually, it's slow immunity, I think, so you can't stop Urgot while he's marching at you. The biggest thing is it allows him to easily proc his passive, which are the shotgun knees, which look really, really cool, by the way, and that's going to be a really interesting mechanic. Such a thing has never really been done before. League has never really been that dependent on orientation. Like, yeah, there have been a couple of champions where it's like Katarina or Cassiopeia counts if you're looking at her. If Shaco throws his dagger at you and you're looking away, it does something. So to have Urgot, though, care about his individual orientation, have to keep track of each one of his 8 legs in which shotgun is available, that seems like that could be difficult. However, I think Purge does a good job of simplifying it and just saying, while you're locked onto a guy, you want to circle strafe the guy. That's pretty much the play you want to be looking to make. So I think that's a good thing to look at. Urgot also got a correct me if I'm wrong, it's a Heroes of the Storm ability on Diablo, where he dashes in a direction, grabs a guy, and puts him behind him, which always looked kind of silly in Heroes of the Storm, to be honest. I think Riot didn't really fix that, but I also think it's an interesting ability for Urgot to have. I think it's a must for his kit to work, and before you guys start getting on my case, he's a Juggernaut, he shouldn't have mobility or CC. It works with Urgot's kit. It's actually got a delay on it. Urgot can't immediately dash. There's a brief delay. It's quick, but it's also not that long. So it's delayed, and it's a short-range ability. So Urgot isn't going to be using this like a Volibear run, where he just kind of gets down on all fours and runs at a guy, and runs at a guy, and runs at a guy, and eventually flips him. This is kind of like, if he's in the middle of a fight already, he could probably reliably get a flip. If he's not, though, it's not going to help him at all. So I like it, actually. I think this is a really interesting ability, and like Galio E, it's blocked by enemy champions standing in front of him, so Urgot can't use it as an escape very easily. I think that's really cool. Finally, Urgot's ultimate. Holy crap. League managed to make their game into a horror game if you play Urgot, because the ability by itself, if you just hit an enemy champion that's not low on HP, I'm kind of disappointed in. It doesn't do that much. It's like a slow and damage over time. Okay, great. I don't really care. Once you get below the health threshold, though, the ability to suppress, drag in, and execute the target is really cool. And the thing I love about it, too, is that it basically doesn't care about health or shields. Once you press the button, it doesn't matter what their health is now. They're dead. It's not does damage where damage is their remaining health. No, it's just you're dead. So I think that's really, really cool. I think it's a good thing for Urgot to have. He's always been kind of League's fear champ. So to have that, I think, is nice. And the advantage it does have is that if Urgot can coordinate with his team, if he can land the ult on a priority target and the team can help burst the target, if they get below the health threshold, Urgot presses R and the kill is secured. It doesn't matter if the Lulu's coming, doesn't matter if the Janna shields or Orianna shields are on the way, that target's dead. So that's actually really, really interesting. Now, the biggest thing for me is that Urgot is very, very easily kited. He doesn't have any reach outside of his auto attack range. I mean, that's all of his damage. So unless Urgot can get in close, he won't be doing any damage. He's very like Alawi in that regard, where the counterplay to Urgot is stay out of his range. Like, yeah, he's big and tanky and he'll do a bunch of damage if you get close to him, but if you walk away from him, he has trouble catching back up. And I think that's a good way to go about doing him. He's a tank. He always looked like a tank, now he plays like a tank. He's really slow moving. If you stand next to the tank, he's gonna kill you. But if you're far away from the tank, he's gonna run forever and never get to you. And he's very easily kited as well. I think he has less of an issue with kiting than other Juggernauts, given the fact that he is ranged, so can at least kind of stutter step it. But I think that at the end of the day, he still has all the same weaknesses of a Juggernaut, which is really great. I think it follows his theme, which is also really great. I think Urgot just has this really great, awesome theme that we get to fully experience now. And his skins as well, I'm really, really excited. Especially Butcher Urgot went from his worst skin to arguably his best skin. I'm not really a fan of what they did with Giant Enemy Crabgot. I liked it better when it was like a really terrible 60s horror film poster, you know what I'm saying? But I do like, I think they did his skins justice. Butcher Urgot is now definitely a really good skin. I might actually buy that when Urgot comes out. In terms of meta viability, I don't think he'll be that viable unless his numbers are just blatantly overtuned and you can afford to play him top lane irregardless of matchup. I think that he has an interesting niche as like a bullying Juggernaut. Well, I guess most Juggernauts bully, but I think he still has an interesting niche in the top lane, especially if you need more range damage. I know oftentimes people pick all melee champions, especially if you have something like, let's say, Echo in the jungle, Zed mid, and then you're running some weird bot lane. So it does help that you can throw on another range champion in the top lane. That's also not just a squishy damage dealer, that you do have some form of tankiness on a team comp. I think that works out for him. Meta viability, probably not there. I don't expect him to see him in professional play at all. He might show up in competitive play, depending on people who can master his kit early. Getting the most out of his shotgun knees is going to be the biggest thing for Urgot players now, but I think it's pretty cool. Last up, I want to touch on his whole thematic changes as well. Urgot has always been the weirdest champion from a thematic perspective because he's a Noxian, but he's touched up in Zaun, and there's just a lot of weird things going on with his lore. And obviously we don't have that many details now, but I do like the fact that he was Noxian, he is Noxian headsman. He gets betrayed and basically left for dead as a slave in Zaun, and it's in Zaun where Urgot becomes the giant tanky dude that we all know and love today. Now, my biggest question is, did he do it to himself, or was he just endlessly injured as a Noxian slave and eventually replaced enough pieces? It seems to me like he decided to do this. Like, you guys have the technology, build me into a tank, which I think is really cool. The bit about Urgot going for Zaun's leaders is not a typo, by the way. Urgot is after Zaun's leaders. I think the whole thing here is that Urgot wants to show Noxus that strength doesn't matter, being a survivor is. Or rather, being in charge doesn't matter. If you're a leader of Noxus, that doesn't matter. The point is, are you strong? Can you survive? And you will never survive if you are a leader. So, I think Urgot intends to use Zaun as and by extension Piltover, as an example for Noxus, to say, look at what I did here. Look at where strength got these guys. Because the Chem Barons of Noxus are the Chem Barons of Zaun are very Noxian in ideals. They got to their position by being strong, by forming a power bastion around themselves, and they all kind of have an uneasy alliance with each other, but they all want to slice the pie from Piltover up top. So this is a very similar concept then, with Urgot saying, hey, I'm going to take these guys down one by one. Being in charge didn't help them. Only being a survivor will help them. So I think it's interesting, and I'm interested to see how Urgot will actually interact with Noxus now on, because he doesn't seem like he's a big fan of Noxus now. I'm expecting to have a lot more taunts for Darius. I'm expecting to have a rebuttal for Sion, because Sion does kind of diss him, and maybe one for Karthus as well. I believe Karthus asks him, or highly recommends death to him, so it will be really interesting to see where I take his lore in the future. I'm hoping we get another mini lore event out of this. I know some champions like Twitch and Singed didn't get their updated bios with the Zaun event a while ago, so it'll be really, really interesting to see what they do with Urgot and if they package it with anything else. Anyways, that's going to be it for me today, guys. I'm sorry I was so excited. I even think I skipped my intro doing this video, but I'm just really excited for Urgot. I think he's going to be really cool. Go ahead and let me know what you guys think of Urgot down in the comment section below. I'd love to see what you guys think, especially in Urgot main. I would love to see what you guys are thinking of the new kit. Go ahead and drop a like on the video if you enjoyed it, and if you really enjoyed the video, consider subscribing. I upload a video every Monday, Friday, and on patch days as well. Once again, thank you guys so very much for watching. I do appreciate it, and I will talk to you all later.